everybody. Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to the Harley Carnes podcast. Harley on the headlines. Just me talking about what's going on briefly. Been doing news for a long time. I appreciate you, too, for giving me a bit of your time. Time is precious, and I get that, so thanks for being there. Liking, following, subscribing, all help spread the invitation, too, so thank you for that as well. If the reasons for the removal, also known as the firing, of Kristi Noem as head of Homeland Security seems a bit obscure to you too, it's probably because we don't have a full understanding of things, but we're probably pretty close. The short stroke is the Democrats who wanted her head got it, they won. And the longer stroke is Noem sure helped them out. She didn't own some of the mistakes that happened on the field, not enough, and she couldn't adequately cover her hind end on spending a couple $100 million on DHS advertisements aimed at getting illegals to go back home on their own with a chance to come back by doing it the right way. Really good commercials, by the way, but you can make an actual movie for $200 million plus, a couple of them, well-funded, in fact. She claimed the president signed off on it. He said, no, not really, and that was it. So she lost that gig. Now, Kristi Noem is nothing if not a loyal conservative for the Trump administration. So he's giving her a new job, creating a position for a new security initiative in this hemisphere called Special Envoy for the Shield of the Americas. She's very likely to turn it into something real once the sting of getting the DHS boot fades. The new Secretary of Homeland Security will be a Republican senator from Oklahoma, Mark Wayne Mullins. He won't have any real problems in confirmation. He's highly respected on both sides of the aisle. What a turnabout in Venezuela. I mean, this is actually unbelievable that the crooks who were part of the drug smuggling government of Nicolas Maduro are not crooks anymore. That they have turned over a new leaf and have pledged to live on the side of right, such that there is talk, actually an intention to reestablish diplomatic relations. The U.S. State Department says so, made the announcement last night. It means a lot of good things for both countries. I'm going to give you a handful of bullet points. Venezuela's profits from its oil business start to flow again. The U.S. will be a trading partner, not a boss. China's influence in Venezuela will be reduced. The U.S. will have greater access to the gold in Venezuela. The U.S. will have more access to critical minerals there, mostly coltan and bauxite. They can use our mining help to get at it because it's not so easy to do. Venezuela says it'll get out of the illegal drug business. Okay. There are already new deals with contracts to get most of those things done. We can thank Interior Secretary Doug Burgum for negotiating these deals. That is impressive stuff. Lastly, it is proof and sobering that the Trump administration can make friends with countries whose politics is anathema to ours. Nearly every political office in Venezuela is held by the PSUV, Partido Socialista Unido de Venezuela, the United Socialist Party of Venezuela. Now, why does this matter? Because for more than 25 years, the socialists, the Chavista regime, have been in power there. A big part of who they are is anti-American, anti-imperialist ideology and facilitating the drug trade. The difficult balancing act for President Delcy Rodriguez is to try to wean the drug traffickers in her own government, which are essentially all members of her military, from that business. It may not be possible. It'll be very difficult for the Cartel of the Suns, which is what that military drug smugglers organization calls themselves, to just get out of an extremely profitable enterprise. And it's the biggest reason The Trump administration made a deal with Rodriguez that allowed her to stay in power, allowed by Washington, allowed by the cartel of the Suns, which did not die with the arrest of their boss, Maduro. What Nicolas Maduro left behind was a tangled but efficient web of illegal economies, multiple, with tentacles that are both nationally entrenched and involved with international players. So is Rodriguez complicit in her country's ongoing criminal activities? There's virtually no chance of her being in power and keeping her hands clean without facing an internal revolt. And naturally, if I know this, then the Trump administration knows it in vastly greater, more granular detail, and still must try to work a deal that's good for the U.S., that might over time help begin to clean up Venezuela. And complicated stuff. In the UK, 4 Iranians, 3 of whom also have British citizenship, are in jail suspected of spying on Jews specifically. Counter-terror police in London made the arrest today. 6 other suspects are also being held on related charges. You probably know this, of course. North and South Korea are still at war, officially, have been ever since the war started. And it didn't end in 1953. What they have is an armistice, a ceasefire treaty that keeps them from shooting at each other. The two countries are famously separated by the DMZ, a demilitarized zone. It is narrow. You can walk across it in a minute. But if you try, either side might see it as an invasion or certainly an incursion and just might shoot you. South Korea is saying it's enough already. They're calling for a declaration of peace to put a formal end to the Korean War and dialogue that could ease tensions on the peninsula and lead to better times. Peace talks begin with one side saying exactly this: enough, let's make peace. No one, by the way, is expecting North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un to take that olive branch. He's been building up his military. He just inspected a brand new destroyer, says they'll build 2 new warships every year. He has nukes, has been trying to build better missiles, and he threatens everyone in the West, especially South Korea and the U.S. President Trump even took a crack at trying to mend a fence there and sort of make friends with Kim Jong-un, but that didn't last. China, by the way, is slowing down economically these days. Deflation is what it's called. China's economic growth has been the greatest in the world for quite a while, far faster than the U.S., and still is growing faster than the U.S. economy, but it's slowing down, at least a bit. China just estimated that its economy will grow by 4.5% to 5% this year, lowest level in 35 years. U.S. economic growth is expected to be about 2.5%, maybe 2.8% if we're lucky this year. That's roughly half of what China is doing. We got some good news from NASA. It looks like a small asteroid won't hit the Earth or the Moon in 2032 after all. Whew, wow. This is, of course, good news. It is small, about the size of a 15-story building, so it's not a planet killer or even a dinosaur killer, but it would not be good for anyone near the crater. Right now, the best estimates are 0 chance of hitting the Earth and only about a 4% chance of hitting the Moon. They think it'll miss by about 13,000 miles, which in celestial terms is a whisker. So thank you very much for joining today. Sure do appreciate it. I hope there's something worthwhile in that little collection of stories. I hope you'll help put out the word. Maybe more people will join in. We can have a crowd. Like, follow, subscribe, send some emails. Sure do appreciate it. In the meantime, I am Harley Carnes. We'll talk again, and again. Until then, please do yourself a real favor. Make some good decisions in your life today. Good choices. And be happy. That's a choice. And fly safe, too. It's the only way to get there.